Hello, everyone, and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Logan Landers. And joining me today is the man that everyone knows around here as the football encyclopedia, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. How you doing, Vince?
How you doing, Mr. Logan Landers?
Hey, doing solid, Vincent. Hey, I'm ready to talk about this young man here at Ohio State with Justin Fields. But before we get started on that one first, we'll give a shout out to Believe Podcast Network for listening to this audio experience and everything, man. All you guys who are downloading us over on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere else you'd like to listen to your podcast, thank you very much. Also, if you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, thank you very much. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great football content. So, but hey, let's get started here, Vince. I know you're ready to talk about this young man for the Ohio State University, Justin Fields. So break it down for all the fans at home. What do you think? What do you like about Justin Fields, and how do you think he's going to perform in the NFL?
Well, like I said, if you look over the last couple of weeks, there was a lot of people saying that he had digressed a little bit as not being the number 2 quarterback in the 2021 NFL draft. And I think that changed last week with his performance in the semifinals of the college football playoff. What I like about Justin Fields is that perfect size, 6'3", about 25, great stature in the pocket, clutch play, very athletic, top shelf passer, arm strength. Let's give him an A+. Awareness of the game, outstanding. And what I like about him in 2 years at Ohio State, production. He was a Heisman finalist 2019, 41 touchdowns, 3,200 yards, 3 interceptions. Then he came back this year in only 6 games. He had 21 touchdowns, 6 INTs. Granted, a lot of people feel like he took a step back in the Indiana game this year. But what I can't understand, remember this, he had 22 players out. He didn't have his full arsenal. Against Northwestern, granted, he didn't play well. Again, he didn't have his top receivers, Chris Olave. And you saw what he did against Clemson, Mr. Olave, last Friday night. But when you look at it, this guy, Justin Fields, has got it all. And I like the deep ball accuracy. But he puts me in the mind of Andre Ware that played in that run and shoot at the University of Houston back in the day. Also, he's got a little more moon in him. Accuracy with the ball pocket. Then, like I keep saying, and I say this all the time, I saw a guy when I was 10 years old, played at Tennessee State. The ball came off his hand like a cannon. John Street Gilliam. So Justin Fields has all this. But what I like about him, why I think he's going to really make it be a real high-level quarterback, and why I think he's going to be the second quarterback taken in the 2020 NFL draft, some of his teammates said about him. Jeff Elcour came out and said, Justin Fields is all about football. And to me, that's leadership. But think back in the national semifinals against Clemson when he took that serious hit by James Skalski. He had a moment. And when I think about that moment in the game, that was his injury. He went to the tent, but it brought me back to when I was 14 years old, and I was a big fan of Condrich Holloway at the University of Tennessee. And they opened the season on September 7, 1974. And Condrich Holloway got hurt in the third quarter. Everybody thought his arm was broke. He went to the hospital, came back, came running through the tunnel. And then when Justin Fields came out of the tunnel in the second half, what did he do against Clemson? Bombs away. And remember this, what really made me upset why people put him down, he had 2 bad games, Logan. And everybody's talking about he had regressed. He took a step back. And I heard somebody on the national stage said that they felt like he had failed in the second round. But you know what? He had his full arsenal. He had all his guys back, Chris Olave. And all I have to say, he played big time in the biggest game of his life against the biggest game in his life. And all I have to say, look at this, 22 of 28, 388 yards. I think what he have, 3 touchdowns? No, what, 3? I can't remember, 5 touchdowns. But all I can say is that we saw he got his full arsenal. Hey, man, he took it to another level. And then look at the offense Ohio State play in. What I really like, their passing game is very difficult. It's an option route game, and the QB has to be on the same page. And he came in there and mastered that in 2 years. This guy's got it all, man. And think about all the great quarterbacks that have been at Ohio State. Rex Kern, Cornelius Green, Art Sleeks, the Heisman Trophy winner Troy Smith. Even here locally, Dwayne Haskins. I'm going to throw Joe Burrow in, even though he transferred and went to LSU. This young man out of Kennesaw, Georgia, got it all. And when I say he got it all, hey, he's going to be special at the next level. And who gets him? I expect Justin Fields is going to be a great pro. My final words on Justin Fields, it's like this. When I was 26 years old, it was a song by Club Nouveau. And the song was Jealousy. On the regular season, hey, all I heard was Justin Fields' regress. He done this. Mm-hmm. Seemed to me a lot of jealousy on the national scale, but he woke the nation up against Clemson. And I'm going to tell you this, coming up with the national championship game against Alabama, beware Roll Tide. Justin Fields, to me, is a special talent, and he's going to be very successful on the NFL stage.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Vince. He's got all the tools in his toolbox to take it to the next level. And I was with you when people were saying earlier in the year that this guy might have even dropped to the second round. I was like, nah, this guy is too special. We've seen what he's done during his college career, and I think he proved a lot of people wrong, especially last week against Clemson when he, that they almost put up 50 against them. So that really, I think, kind of silenced a lot of the doubters, and I think that moved him into the second best quarterback position. I know we were talking last week about Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, how they might be battling for that spot, but I think Justin Fields just solidified his number 2 draft slot in terms of quarterbacks. I still think Trevor's got a slight edge on him, but Justin is definitely number 2. So Vince, I'm gonna give you 3 teams here who I think might go after Justin Fields. All right, first off, the obvious choice, we got the New York Jets. Then we have the Atlanta Falcons, who he's been linked to as potentially the next star after Matt Ryan leaves. And the other team I got is the Detroit Lions, kind of a later on pick. So what do you think about those 3 teams I just listed there? And what do you think will be the best fit for him?
I think basically with the Jets, it look like they're going to move on from Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. I think Justin will be a perfect fit, but it depends who's going to be the head coach. I think it's very critical. And then really who they're going to have around them up there in New York. New York is a very, very tough market to play in, but I think Justin will be fit up real well. To me, it depends who the Jets are going to have as the head coach.
Yeah, the Jets are definitely. Yeah, I'm just saying that the Jets, along with I think 8 other teams, are all looking for a new head coach right now, and they're going to be taking over, a pretty beaten up program right there with the Jets. So, like I said, I'm with you. I think he's going to go to New York, and they're going to move on from Sam Darnold. But yeah, it really does just depend on who is going to be the new head coach for the Jets. But go ahead and continue your statement there.
With the Falcons, of course, I think everybody, as we broadcast here from the Metro Atlanta area, love to see him come back to his hometown. I think, again, it comes down who the Falcons going to have as a head coach, GM. I think you bring Justin Fields in, regardless what you do with Matt Ryan. I think he'll be a perfect fit, maybe sit him for a year. But I'm looking ahead and say the Falcons take him. He's got a receiver already in place in Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage. I think they got some offensive pieces. The offensive line is going to be more stable. I think he'll be a perfect fit here. And then most of all, he's going to sell the seats. And I think he's going to be a prospect on the same level as Michael Vick. I think it's going to be a buzz in the city. And then when you look at the Detroit, that'll be the perfect spot for him. Again, we're looking at a new coach, a new GM, but this is the thing about Detroit. He already has a teammate up there that had a pretty good season in Jeffrey Okudah. I think the Lions are an organization that's knocking on the door. Again, I like what they've done in hiring Chris Spielman, a guy to really help out with operations right now, really respected in Detroit, really respected in the state of Ohio, former linebacker at Ohio State. I think Chris Spielman knows a little bit about football. I think Justin will come into a situation that he'll play from day one. But most of all, he's got a very close teammate in Jeffrey Okudah who said, out of all the prospects and all the teammates he played with through high school and college, Justin Fields is by far the most prepared and said the young man is all about football and all about his teammates. And all I have to say is this, the truth is in the pudding. Go back what he did this last Friday night on the national stage. I didn't make this up, against Clemson. Trevor Lawrence. And all I say is 22 or 28, 388 yards. The guy quiet the nation.
Sir. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. Like I said, I think he's going to go with the Jets. That's going to be Pretty much the consensus pick I've seen around everywhere since they've got the number 2 pick now. And we'll have to see how it does. We'll see if he ends up slipping a little bit. He might go, he might fall into the Falcons' lap. Or he might even, fall into the Lions' lap as well. So we'll have to see. But hey, for everyone listening here at 100 Yards of Football, if you're watching us live on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, thank you guys so much for tuning in live. Also, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Spread the word about all the great stuff we're doing here, especially all the great draft prospects we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. And we're going to be keeping on until the NFL draft in a little while. But for everyone listening over on the podcast side of things, I just want to say a shout out to the Believe Podcast Network. If you ever want to check out any of our podcasts, you can go on Apple or Spotify here. Just type in 100 Yards of Football, and you'll see our logo there with the ball on the 50-yard line. That's how we look like on Spotify, and over on Apple, that's how we're looking like that over there. So thank you guys for listening so much. For my amazing guest, the one and only Mr. Football Vincent Turner, thank you for breaking down Justin Fields, the young quarterback out of the Ohio State University, as he's on his way to the NFL now. And hey, I'm your host, Logan Landers. We'll be talking to you guys in just a few minutes. See ya.